Hello and welcome to STARCAST from Planet Waves. I'm Eric Francis, your astrologer, here with the edition that goes with the weekly horoscope and the weekly article. It's Thursday, the 19th of October, 2023. Welcome or welcome back. Just a brief request. If you like my work, enjoy reading me, find comfort and solace in what I do, please do me a little favor. Subscribe. For a few bucks a month, you make the work that I do possible for everyone, and thank you for doing that. All right, so I come to you at about 2:03 in the afternoon. We are doing our best to run things ahead this week, as I've got a commitment at 5 o'clock and an interview at 4 o'clock. You'll hear the interview on tomorrow's Planet Waves FM. It pertains to the topic of this week's essay, which is the relationship between the Israelis and the Palestinians. What is going on with this? Why is this a source of so much constant, ongoing, non-stop strife? Let's start with the astrology of the very moment. This will be a bit in the past by the time that you're hearing this program later this evening, but nonetheless, it's all kind of encoded in the energy that we've been kind of swimming around in to pull these materials together. So at the time I'm doing this recording, it's 2:04 p.m. EDT. Capricorn is rising. That means Pluto is rising. The moon is toward the end of Sagittarius, 25 degrees. So when you see the moon in late Sagittarius or anything, you know that it is picking up the galactic center. Not everyone works, meaning not all astrologers work with the galactic center, but I don't fail to put it in every single chart. Is that right? I don't fail? Right, I do. It goes into every chart because it's there, and it's this central organizing principle in the middle of things. Quite a wild creature astronomically. Imagine how concentrated the stars get as they accumulate toward the core. The gravity increases, and it must be not far from where we are. I mean, we're fairly far out in the galactic arms, but as you maybe go in, I don't know, a quick 10,000 light years, it must be very, very bright at night because the starlight is so much more concentrated. And then at the galactic core, you have these stars orbiting the supermassive black hole very, very quickly. So I talk about the galactic core as being a spiritual homing signal, but everything I know about it indicates that it is this just profound, really intense kind of zone of heat and energy and concentrated power. Anyway, the moon is conjunct this, and probably still is if it's sometime on Thursday. And also the moon is, so that means the moon, I don't want to skip that over too quickly. The moon is condensing all of this energy. That's what the moon does. It's kind of a condenser, condensing all of this energy. And at the same time, it is applying in a sextile to the sun, moon, 25 Sag, sun, 26 Libra. That's a sextile. Masculine sign to masculine sign, you know you've got a trine or a sextile. Okay, so, and then moon square Neptune. So that's exact right now. Partile to the degree, 2537, 2529. So that's a trickier aspect than it feels like right now. I'm waiting for the punchline of that one to come along. Normally there's kind of a fog around that moon square Neptune, but the galactic core is involved. And so the galactic core can at once serve as a clarifying agent and a homing signal, but it can also induce a kind of a strange amnesia that I've seen with the galactic core. My joke with understanding the galactic core for years was I keep delineating it, and then I forget the delineation. I'm like thinking, oh, now I understand the galactic core. I forget to write it down. So that entered the delineation. Things that you, revelations that you have, spiritual revelations, and things that you discover or uncover in some way, often within your own consciousness, that you then might forget. So anyway, this suggests that that Neptune is in a long square aspect to the galactic core. Neptune is working those mid 20 degrees of Pisces for years, 24, 5, 6, 7. It's right there right now, 25, 29. So Neptune is square the galactic core. Whatever life feels like now, that's what life feels like to be, to have Neptune square the galactic core. Now, additionally, Mercury and the Sun are about to make their interior conjunction. That means that we are halfway between the Mercury retrogrades. There's an interior conjunction, meaning that, exterior conjunction. That means that Mercury kind of goes around the back of the Sun. In the Mercury Sun Earth alignment, and that is when Mercury is in direct motion. When Mercury is retrograde motion, it passes between the Earth and the Sun. It is closer. All planets are closer when they are retrograde, but Mercury is not retrograde. The exterior conjunction, it used to be called the superior conjunction and the inferior conjunction, but Melanie Reinhardt and I took a vote and unanimously decided to change that terminology to interior conjunction, Mercury passing between the Sun and the Earth, exterior conjunction, Mercury passing behind the Sun, which is where it is now. Far from view, but not far from the astrology. So we have this exterior conjunction going on right now. And the moon is picking it up, and Eris is also in the mix. So we've got now basically a group of things all kind of humming along at about 25, 24, 25 degrees of the signs. That is Mercury, Sun in Libra, Moon, galactic center in Sagittarius, Neptune in Pisces, and then Eris, North Node, in Aries. Right nearby, Uranus is there, but its number value is a little bit lower. It's just slightly out of reach at the moment. Now, what does that mean? That, to me, says that there are a lot of open channels of communication, and that those channels of communication can go into some very interesting places. Galactic center, Neptune in Pisces, and it is likely to be information flowing in both directions, i.e., things are accessible to consciousness. You can find things out, learn them, and discover them. Also, there's an interesting pattern that I don't remember studying much before, and that is Vesta. I think the third asteroid, the brightest asteroid, and one of the patron saints of planet waves, is standing in an opposition to Pholus, Centaur planet, second Centaur planet. A lot of energy comes out of Pholus. It's the pressurized release. It is the champagne bottle too warm, shaken up, and the cork popped, such things as that. And there is, this is a tap into some ancestral energy. Now, Pholus tends to go out of control. Vesta tends to be about structure, discipline, and control. Over in Capricorn, where Pholus is, there is actually a group of minor planets. They include Ixion, which is a Plutino. It's kind of like Pluto. It's about approximately the same degree, number of years. I think it's 250 years. So it's going along at the same speed as Pluto most of the time. So the Ixion is about amorality. Long story there. But it's not about immorality. That means like breaking the rules. Ixion's about not having any rules. Pholus, of course, second Centaur, ancestral healing, things kind of getting set loose and set free. The toothpaste cannot be squeezed back into the tube, and then that is followed by Cupido, that's a planet without a body. That's an imaginary planet, Cupido, and it's about gatherings. That's a lovely little point there. It's a very slow moving point. I don't have those notes in front of me. Hundreds of years going around, maybe like 500-600 years to go around the zodiac once. And last but not least, Quayar, another ancestral point. So there's a lot of ancestral stuff coming out of Capricorn right now, Pholus opposing it. One of the things that may be going on in the world in which we live is that there's just a little way too much out of control ancestral energy being released into the environment in which we share. That's certainly what's going on in the Middle East, although there's also a fair amount of amorality, like fuck everything, let's blow this place to shit, which is why I suggest you not fall for this whole thing. And by fall for it, I mean believe that there is really some legitimate reason for Israel to defend itself against Gaza and Hamas and all this stuff. Well, the astrology, which I'm going to get into in a second and kind of recap what I said on the program last week, indicates that this whole situation between Israel and Hamas, this alleged militant group set up by the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, when they had to deal with the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, remember that, Yasser Arafat, well, that was a little too left-leaning. They needed a little more right-leaning militant dissident group, so they made one. That's called Hamas. That's a creature of the Mossad, okay? So that I didn't know that at the time that I read this chart, and then like my friends who know this history explained to me, oh yeah, that's how it works actually. The Hamas is a creature of Israel. Oh, now they're at war. Now the thing is that Iran is like a target in a firing range, always waiting to get shot at. And during one of these Bush wars or one of these let's just bomb the Middle East wars, there was a joke sung to the tune of the Beach Boys song, Barbaran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. And people think this is funny. The problem is that bombing Iran implies a thermonuclear device. Trust me, you're not interested, we're not interested, I'm not interested, and we might wonder who exactly is interested. Why would anyone want to do that? Why would anyone want to unleash total death and devastation? Why would anyone want to risk a full-scale nuclear war? Hasn't been one of those things used in warfare, actual warfare, since 1945. It would be nice if we kept it that way forever. The issue here is that when weapons are made, they tend to be used. And second, there is this agenda going around of getting rid of all the eaters. This is not some kind of a conspiracy theory. This is published literature by organizations that file corporate papers and have tremendous influence. For example, the World Economic Forum, the Davos gang. Well, they think of you as being a useless eater. Isn't that crazy? So there is this, additionally, this kind of apocalyptic time. We're in the end times, and most of these religions, these desert religions, are what I call apocalyptic religions. They're all about, well, they're all kind of sexually repressed. And so their idea of orgasm is wargasm. Let's just get it all over with. Let's have a big rapture. Oh, I'm a fundamentalist Christian. I can't have sex. But when the rapture comes, we will all be naked flying up into heaven. Give me a break. Why don't you just get naked and take a walk in a forest and have a good time? While there's still forests to take a walk in, while there's still good times to be had. So I am not in love with this chart for this alleged Hamas bombing of Israel, launching 5,000 rockets from a decimated parking lot. That's what Gaza is, a decimated parking lot. What do they think? They're smuggling 5,000 rockets in through like the Temple of Karnak in Egypt, which has like a 5-mile border with Gaza. What do we really think is going on here? How can it be that the Gazans can wage a high-tech war and actually stand up to a power with as astonishingly advanced of a military and intelligence service, hi Mossad, as Israel has? So we are in one of these situations yet again where we need to practice some discernment and not just believe everything. And the time to pause on believing things is right at the same instant you find yourself getting drawn in and riled up. When you're drawn in and riled up, the first thing you might want to say is, who left that banana peel on the floor? Who exactly is trying to piss me off? You can think, well, I am right because I am pissed off. Yeah, no, that's the problem, is you think you're right because you're pissed off. You grieve these atrocities. Therefore, the next natural thing is to pick sides. Well, I'm telling you, in my view, personally, just me speaking, there's only one side to pick in this conflict, and that is the side of the people who are being maimed and harmed and killed and hurt in any way, displaced, told to flee this part of the country and go to that part of the country, who have nothing to do with this, who have no interest in any of this. So we'll take a closer look at this astrology in tomorrow night's Planet Waves FM. And if all goes well, in a little while, Jeff Strahl and I will be having a conversation. He's someone who's basically got the history of these places committed to memory. He understands what happened, and we're going to talk about what happened to the nation of Palestine, which also happens to share a zip code with what is today called Israel. That, I think, covers the current astrology. Let's end it with a little more commentary on the current astrology. One of the reasons all of this conflict makes me nervous right now is because we are in the midst of eclipses. We've just passed a solar eclipse in Libra. That can have a way of knocking things off of balance, and we are approaching a lunar eclipse in Taurus. That can affect things like food and beef and stability generally. Taurus tends to be a little bit too stable for its own good, but also Taurus contains a lot of stuff underneath its very nice, tidy, prim, proper surface. I'm sure that the best presented people you know are very likely to be Tauruses. Man, they don't leave the house not looking good, but you find out they may feel quite differently from how they look, and partly the good look is to kind of help them be a little more theatrical in the global sense, and to cover up some of this seething passion and rage and sexual energy and potentially kind of aggression that might be turned on themselves. The Tauruses have a little issue with this. So when you have an eclipse in Taurus, some of this may come out. There's a little bit of a Pandora's box opening. An eclipse of the moon tends to act as if the veil of the moon is like a veil. The moon veils something all the time, no matter where the moon is. You can look at the moon and say, oh, that's nice, that's the moon. Then you ask yourself, well, what is the moon veiling? Well, you might find out what the moon is veiling when you have a lunar eclipse, because the lunar eclipse pulls back the curtain, and then you can suddenly get a sense of what is down there, what has been held back, and suppressed in various ways. So do pay attention. So this is why I'm a little worried that we're getting into this kind of cycle of violence and conflict, and this thing that seems to have as its, the word's not really end game, but the end of the inning, to have a thermonuclear device dropped on Tehran. Bad idea. Worst idea ever. Probably come up with a few worse ones, but for today, that is the worst idea ever. So meanwhile, this eclipse happens. Eclipse of the moon happens on Saturday, 28th October, 2023. Happens at 4:23:53, so really 4:24 p.m. Eastern Time. This is with the sun approaching the cross quarter in Scorpio. So we're right at Samhain. That is Halloween, Days of the Dead. It's 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, add 7. So yeah, so that's the sun is going to be at around 12 degrees of Scorpio, 4 days of the dead. For next week's program, I'm going to do a ghost story program, and I'll recirculate for those who didn't hear it the Happy Hobgoblin edition of Planet Waves FM, and we'll have a little Samhain Thanksgiving party. But apart from that kind of theme, that kind of Days of the Dead type of theme, the thing about Samhain is that it is, in fact, a cross-quarter, and it is a PowerPoint. And were I the King's astrologer, I would be saying, okay, this year, the year to celebrate Samhain is with the full moon in the full moon eclipse in Taurus. You take the nearest, most really interesting thing, such as a lunation, and there's where you have your ritual. So for those who are doing rituals, who some way want to light the fire of transformation, I would say probably actually Friday night or overnight Friday to Saturday, or Saturday night is when to have the actual Samhain celebration. The veils will be thin. The ancestors will be available on the 7th floor, where you can find ancestors' records and lingerie. I think that's what I have to say at the moment. If I have anything more to say, I'm going to say it on tomorrow's Planet Waves FM. That's at planetwaves.fm. Once again, reminder, request. I pay for the service when other people don't. I'm so committed to doing this that I just do it. I don't take any money out of Chiron Return, our nonprofit. I put it in. So please subscribe to Planet Waves FM. That's the Planet Waves FM Substack, planetwavesfm.substack.com, otherwise known as planetwaves.org. And wherever you're listening to this, just click on the nearest subscribe link. You will feel good that you are giving back some energy, a little energy, into this beautiful thing called Planet Waves. All right, that is what I have to say for you right now. I'm hoping the editing team has its stuff together today. I'm going to do this interview with Jeff Strahl in a little over an hour, and then head out the door to a political event that I am photographing. As you can see, I've been doing a lot more pictures lately. And that's it. Thanks for listening. Love you lots. And bye for now.